Welcome to the channel again. Uh, this is your channel, The Foreigner. And one more time we're here with a little sad story again. I don't want to be insistent of this kind of news, but um, well, things are good, but um, when you hear stories like this, I'm sorry, I was just walking here, but something like a stone, I hit a stone here. But another foreigner has been killed inside the resort in the Philippines. When you hear the headlines like this, it sounds like, things happen anywhere. It could be anywhere. It could be anywhere. I mean, even any Western country, South America, Latin America, Mexico. I mean, it could be anywhere. But not very often. Not very often somebody gets killed inside the resort. Think about that. Um, a resort. I mean, most of us, we know what a resort is. I mean, what this resort is. I mean, a place where people go for a vacation. Families, entire families. I mean, there are resorts all over the planet. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they are in Japan. It's not just areas where like tropical, sunny. When we think about resort, we think that it's only the Caribbean, Dominican Republic, famous, very famously known resorts in the Caribbean, Jamaica, all these beautiful islands in the Caribbean. 2 hours just from the U.S. mainland. I mean, think about that. Central America, it's full of resorts too. All over Central America has uh, the land. It's like a bridge connecting North America and South America. Over 500 million people lives in Latin America. 550 million people are going all the way to Brazil. So it's like a bridge going, uh, that connects North America, which is Canada, the U.S. Of course, Mexico is part of a little bit of North America too, but it's a Spanish-speaking country. So when we think about resort, we really, we think about a place that is safe to, to vacation, safe for a vacation, in with family members, your loved ones, your fiance, or newlywed, anybody who is a newlywed. Of course, people think, oh, I'm gonna go to a resort. I mean, bye, ¿cómo está? So here, people are saying, hi, mucho gusto, ¿cómo está? People are having fun here. Yeah, mucho gusto. Yeah, and motorcycles. Enseguida los saludo. That's the way people are here. Very nice. So that's the way they say hi. And so keep, with the topic of the sad story, like I'm laughing, smiling with these, people who I met, are just, friends, people, that I know here. So they're really, like I was saying about an American just got, a foreigner just get killed in a resort in the Philippines inside. I mean, inside resort is very safe. I mean, people, there are security guards all over the place. I mean, I'm not saying like a private army, but it's safe. I mean, there are security cameras all over. I mean, people working, at the restaurant, swimming pool, I mean, playground area. I mean, there's so many amenities at the resort place that it's very hard to see. Oh well, accident can happen. Accident happens. It could be an accident inside a resort. I mean, you can get food poisoning, right? Even in a fancy five-star hotel, a five-star resort, things can happen anywhere and everywhere. But it's not very often. I mean, in this case, just today in the Philippines, I mean, inside the resort, and it's a trend that we have seen in 2025. Foreigner get killed. Remember this next to in a back alley nearby the ATM machine. A foreigner that was just in Mindanao that was just killed, and a couple months. I mean, just 3 months ago, uh, another guy from Vermont that was living with his Muslim wife in southern Mindanao that was just kidnapped and killed. I mean, things like you start hearing this more often than usual. That's what I'm trying to get to. More often than usual. So in situations like this, I'm not saying here let's get paranoid about, about the whole situation and arming ourselves. People say, well, people for the safety, they have to do this, take extreme measure, extreme, cautions. I mean, if you go to the extreme, you can go get paranoid about this whole situation of safety. Of course, we should be, try to be safe in all manners at all times. Of course, I mean, anywhere we are, even without this recent incident, we should be, I mean, it's a common sense to be cautioned, to be, to preserve our lives. I mean, to preserve our safety. That's, it should be always, not just because of this incident happening on just starting 2025. So, by saying that, do you have a plan B just in case? I mean, if things gets really worse than you think it is, maybe it's not really that bad. But if this trend is continuing, do you have a plan B? I mean, do I have a plan B? Or, think about that. Um, well, Latin America is always uh, plan B. Plan B could be Latin America, or Plan B could be Taiwan. I mean, South Korea, Cambodia, Vietnam. I mean, it could be Thailand. We hear stories about Thailand, how you know, people, uh, love Thailand because of their, especially the cuisine. Thailand is, cuisine. I mean, the food, the amenities. I mean, the mountains. I mean, they name resorts. Think about that. I mean, resort. They're always mentioning, you know, beautiful beaches too. But beaches are all over the place, all over Latin America. We have plenty of beaches with an average 90-degree Fahrenheit all year long. So if that's the case, I mean, why going 8,000, 10,000 miles far from where you are in America, in the United States, in Canada? I mean, to for a beach, just for a resort. I mean, life. But of course, people are really, I would say, um, self-deporting in a way. Americans, going to the Philippines. A lots of people, they're flooding the Philippines. I mean, there are and many millions ready to go. Getting information, we see it. I mean, we see it in the social media. We see how um, the trend is in Central America too. Just in Costa Rica, there are over 100,000 um, American expats living in Costa Rica. And Costa Rica is a small country, only 4 million people. And when you have in a country of 4 million people, if you have more than 100,000 or more foreigners living there, I mean, expats basically. Of course, there are another million people who are refugees. Like they are. I mean, they're escaping, trouble from trouble countries. I mean, you know, um, from South America, from the Caribbean, from Haiti. I mean, from different countries, neighboring countries, of course, because social unrest, I would say. But we're talking about expat people who are trying to move from their home countries, going, finding a nice, quiet, peaceful place to live, peaceful place to, start a new life. I mean, that second chance, that second opportunity in life to find happiness. We all have that right to find happiness, definitely. I mean, if that's one of you, one, looking for that place, and now with this trend, of violence, robberies in the Philippines, um, if you're thinking about, I'm not saying, oh well, this is only a few incidents. You can make a decision based in a couple of incidents or very few. Remember that the Philippines is a big country. I mean, over 7,000 islands, 7,000 islands, more than 100 million people. I mean, you can't base anything. I mean, make a decision based only because of these news that we hear about it, right? So because things happens anywhere. I mean, it could be anywhere and everywhere, right? But well, even without this situation, what's going on in the Philippines at this moment with this, uh, killings of foreigners, without, let's say that there was nothing going on. I mean, everything very much, minor things happening. But either either way, we all need to have a plan B, just in anything in life, like everything in life. Plan B. So if you're thinking about Latin America, Central America could be a spot that you look, you start, researching for or visiting. It's just 2-3 hours away, especially Central America, right? Central America has 7 countries. One of the countries, Belize, is a English-speaking country. Of course, when you compare the Philippines with Belize, which is another English-speaking country too. So one of the attractions in the Philippines is that the official language is in English. So the moment you arrive there, you arrive to, anywhere in the Philippines, basically. I mean, you communicate. I mean, everything in your own language. If your language, first language is English, like Canadians, for Canadians, British, Americans. But if you're French, most people in Europe, the second language is English. Even you're French or German or Australian, of course, the first language is English. In Central America, Belize is the country, is a small country here in the Caribbean, next to Guatemala, bordering with Guatemala, the country Guatemala, which is north from Honduras. And then, so you may consider, if you're considering Plan B, that could be a Plan B. And thinking about Plan B, of course, the first thing you think is how I'm gonna do my planning. Have Plan A or Plan B. Well, if your Plan A has been the Philippines, but what if, right? There's always the question of what if, right? What if meaning anything, right? Meaning anything, any incident or situation or change of plans. Plan B could be a place like this. I mean, Honduras could be a place. So talking about the cost of living, if you're thinking about cost, of course, when you think about cost of living, that's the first thing you think about is housing, of course. Housing. Next is transportation, food, medical care is on top of the five on the 5 top of your list should be medical too, medical care, right? But let's say that just if you see these places where I'm right now, I'm walking, these houses, they're like this is a new like residential area in the outskirts of Tegucigalpa, just 15 minutes from the center, city center in Tegucigalpa. And if you look at it, these houses are like a 2-bedroom houses, most of them. Some of them are 3-bedroom houses. But the price for, just to have a little, I have friends who live here. I mean, people I know, right, in this area, that the rent will go for a 2-bedroom, in a house like this with 2 garage, a place for 2 garage. We go for like 6,000 lempiras. 15 minutes from Tegucigalpa, from the main, commercial area, main business district, with all the amenities. And what is 6,000 lempiras? The equivalent of $240. With $240, you rent a place. Of course, you can get deposit, right? Deposit, 1-month deposit. With $500, almost close to $500, you are ready to move in one of these houses that you see here. And just in case, right? I'm not, I have nothing to do with the owner of this, or the builders of this community. I'm not making like a advertising or anything. It just give you an example of what does it look like a place in which you can rent for. Let's say you're renting for 6 months because maybe you don't want to move permanently yet. But if you rent one of these places that you can see here, when all the way up, I'm panning all the way there, with a nice view. Look at the mountains there. I'm panning slowly so you can have a nice view right there. With a view like this, so with $240 a month, a family of 4, I mean, you can live in one of these places. So is it possible with with $1,000, I mean, if you have fixed income, right? Fixed income with a social security or pension or something like that. Can you live here in Latin America with $1,000 or less? The answer is yes, you can. I just show you the cost of housing. For instance, I just gave you an example. You can see here, in which you can pay $240, the equivalent, $240 US dollars, for a house, a 2-bedroom house with a living room, kitchen, and a garage for 2 cars. In this area, in the outskirts of just 15 minutes from Tegucigalpa, the capital city of 1.3 million people here in Honduras. So, but of course, if you are like, uh, let's say you want to be in the city center with just 2-3 minutes away from places like McDonald's and all these places, nightlife, and in the capital city of Tegucigalpa, of course you'll end up paying a little more. I mean, in a condo of 2-bedroom apartment in a nice high-rise building, you ended up paying around $350 to $400, an average, I would say. I'm not saying that's a fix, but depending on the area, right? That's gonna be in the city, in the middle of the city. But in a place like this, you can rent for $240. Yeah, that's the average. Of course, like I said, 3-bedroom will go for 280, close to $300. So if you are paying, let's say, only 25% of your monthly income, if it's $1,000, like that's the setting. I mean, that's the mark that we have here, $1,000 or a little less. I mean, if you're making that, I mean, if you have that monthly income from your pension, if that was the case, yes, the answer is yes. You can, with thousand, if you're just spending 25% of your income in housing, and let's say you are spending another $100 for cable, internet, electric bill, water bill, which is very much like myself. I pay around $35 to $40 a month for electric bill, which is a little high. But for water service, I mean water supply, you just pay like the equivalent of, let's see, $20. Then cable, internet, and of course, is a gated community. This is a gated, place where you have security 24/7, basically. So this is a gated community, and almost nothing really happens. I mean, nothing happens. What I'm saying is that it's very safe. It's in a very safe area. I'm not saying 100% everything is safe. Nothing in life is 100% safe, guys. So by saying that, let's say you end up spending 35% of that $1,000, which is around $350 for housing, security, I mean, utilities, electrical bill, and on, $350. So you still have like $650 for other things, other amenities, like going out for a weekend to a nearby the beach, right? Well, Tegucigalpa is central Honduras, right? The central valley of Honduras. It's a central province area, right? But anywhere from here, I mean, Honduras is a country of 120,000 kilometers square. So you can go anywhere from here, from the center of Honduras, even if you're far away from the beach. You can go in 3 or 4 hours. You are by the beach to the Atlantic coast or the Gulf of Fonseca. So Pacific or Atlantic coast, you can make it in 3 or 4 hours driving, or 3 or 4 hours using public service, and you can spend the equivalent of I did my a video about that in the cost of transportation. If you are using public transportation, you can only spend like around $10 or $11 very much in going from where the capital city Tegucigalpa to anywhere in the coast, or to the border of El Salvador, or border of Honduras, or the border of Guatemala, right? You end up paying like around $10 or $11. I proved it how public transportation works, and the cost to go to places here. So that's what it is. And then like I say, like I spend weekend, weekend out of going to the provinces. I mean, going to places here, amenities, movies, dinner, things like that will cost you another $350 to $400, but you still have another $300 extra, very much. I would say $250 to $300 for emergency medical care. So how you do your how you go around, because people worry that, well, if you're in a developing country, the medical thing is so, because what you see in the news, right? Of course, public hospital medical care is not the best. I have to be honest about that. I'm not going to lie to you here by saying public medical facilities are not the best. They're improving. They're improving, but it's not. You can't compare it with the public hospital in the U.S. I mean, any Western country you can compare. But you could compare. We could. I do. I mean, places, private hospitals that they charge, of course, for private medical care, like Hospital del Valle in the North Coast. If you go to San Jose, the CIMA San Jose, Clínica Bíblica, this in Costa Rica, which is just 45 minutes from here, from Tegucigalpa, or here in Honduras too. There are 2, 3, private hospitals that are very good, that very high quality care. And like I mentioned, Clínica Bíblica in San Jose, in Costa Rica, San Jose, Costa Rica, and the other one, CIMA San Jose. They are very well known for expats, very well known in the U.S., and they have been approved for the Joint Commission in Health in the U.S. that oversees. This is an organization that oversees all hospitals in the U.S. and they get then they give the seal of approval to for U.S. Hospitals anywhere in the U.S. in any state. So if they have concluded in their report that CIMA San Jose, for instance, and others, and Clínica Bíblica, they are very much the quality care they get, the quality care they offer is very much the same as any U.S. hospital. I mean, you can make the heart transplant there, any sensitive surgeries. I mean, there are, of course, high quality, very well trained doctors. So, and the cost will be like 1/3 of what you can pay in the U.S. Think about dental care now. Dental care that is very much. I mean, to get a dental insurance in the U.S. is so hard, so expensive. You get it one. Dental care has been very much on the limelight. On top of the list. But people come from the U.S. mainland, Canada, to get their dental done. I just did mine. A cleaning, for my dental will cost the equivalent. I pay 600 lempiras, $20, which is the equivalent of $20. I did a filling on my left, on my left side of my, one of my main tube, a filling that was in between two teeth that I did. It cost me around 1,100. It was 1,100, yes, 1,100 lempiras, which is around $40. I'll just give you a couple of examples here. Is the equivalent of $40. I'd say $45 right now that I think I do my numbers. Right? The equivalent of $45. I'm sorry, for a fill-in, which it includes a local, anesthesia. The whole thing is a procedure. It was a 2-visit procedure, twice to go to the dentist here in Tegucigalpa, a private dentist. It charged me $45. That procedure will cost me anywhere in Houston, in Miami, New York, LA, will cost at a minimum $1,200. Been there, done that. I mean, it will cost that, definitely. So, even I have, relatives and friends who have done it. They come visit Central America, they do their dental care. They have no dental insurance in the U.S. and they do it. I mean, they do it, and they do it a lot less, like the equivalent of almost like a little more than 10% of what they could, like a 10% of what they could pay. They have to pay, especially in dental care. I'm talking about 10% or a little less than 10% of what they have ended up paying in the U.S. for dental procedures. Complicated procedures in dental cleaning and stuff, expensive. In general, in medical care, you pay 1/3 in Central America. In general, I would say, in a private hospital, you ended up paying 1/3 for your medical care procedures that you will pay in any Western country. You name it. I mean, Canada, U.S., even Spain, France. I mean, German and Western countries, Australia. I mean, so. By saying that, all I'm saying is that I'm still, trying to convey. I mean, talk about the plan B, if there is plan B, thinking about cost of housing, like I just showed you here on my left side, behind me, that could be an option, just in case, if that's the case, a situation you're thinking about what's going on in the Philippines at this moment. Hopefully, there's so many thousands and thousands of people, getting ready to move. They have even plane ticket. I mean, things are, and friends there, and people are referring, expats in the Philippines. Of course, they're the people are blogging about it, blogging, in social media, YouTubers, and talking about it, and places where you can, live. What is the cheaper place where you can, live like in the U.S., like a BGC, Makati, and many beautiful places, Dumaguete, Cebu City, Bohol. I mean, so many beautiful places where you can call home. That's what if that was the case, and why not? Why not? I agree. I mean, it's a beautiful country. It's over 7,000 islands, and if you are ready to make the decision, that's it. But here, this video is if you have a plan B. So by saying that, guys, well, hopefully this will help you. And well, I'm trying to just make a reflection, and the video is to if there's a decision you end up making, well, think about Latin America as a plan B. That could be an option. All right. So thanks, and see you in the next video. And if you like the video, I mean, this I would say these contents about Latin America, about an expat community in Latin America, the Philippines, please subscribe if you haven't done it, or like. Thanks a lot. See you in the next video. Bye bye. Good night. Bye bye. Thanks.